Connie Taylor consistently ranks within the top half of 1% of all agents in the Texas Panhandle area. One of Connie's defining qualities is her unwavering commitment to provide exceptional customer experience. Over the past few years, several years, she has showcased her prowess by facilitating transactions exceeding over $210 million in most of the exclusive neighborhoods in the Texas Panhandle and services the luxury market. She leads the Connie Taylor Group and maintains a meticulous and service-oriented approach, ensuring that every client matters and all details are handled attentively around the clock. So Connie, thanks for joining today. The first question for you is, how did you originally get into real estate?
So Elena, I've been in real estate 20 years. I've been with the same company this entire time. I got into real estate when my kids were graduating. I just wanted to have a career besides raising children. So that's what originally got me into real estate.
Okay. And you may not remember, but most do. Where did you get your first deal from?
The first deal I got was from Floor Duty. It was a buyer. I mean, it was a seller. Was it a buyer? No, it was a buyer. She was looking at a house and I said, don't do anything. I'll be right there. Don't talk to the listing agent. I'll be right there. That was my first deal in real estate. And I still have that friend for a client.
That's great. That's great to hear. So you still keep in touch with them?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
Good.
Yep. I do remember. I think we all remember our first deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't talked to anyone yet who hasn't remembered. It's a pretty significant milestone for sure.
Exactly.
Whenever you first entered the space, did you join a team or were you solo? How did that look?
You know, teams weren't very relevant 20 years ago. And so I was an individual agent for probably about the first 13 years that I was in the business. But I remember that the first system I used for my CRM, I went to look at all these systems and I was looking for a drip campaign. And drip campaigns weren't even really around then. Honestly, I'm really dating myself here. But I found one company that would produce a drip campaign for me, because at that time they were all like, you need to start a drip campaign with your clients, and there was only one company that provided a drip campaign that didn't cost $1 a drip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you remember who your first hire was and how did you decide?
I hired early. I hired a part-time assistant who was actually going to school in biology, but she worked for me part-time and another agent part-time. But that was probably 3 years into the business. I hired a part-time admin.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually one of the first hires is an assistant or an admin to offload tasks. So today, what does the structure of your team look like? Do you have any part-time or full-time employees in-house?
I only full-time employees at this time. I have an ISA. I had 2 with some of the new technology. We've gone down to 1 for now. But I have my lead ISA that's been with me for, I think, Loretta, have you been with me 5 or 6 years? Anyway,
I joined the team the end of 2018.
Right, so right at six years. I have an admin that's licensed, and I have 4 agents on the team. And then my husband is licensed also, but he is very much behind the scenes, does our bookkeeping, and just kind of does behind the scenes work for us.
Okay. Does your admin perform activities that require the license?
Yes. In Texas, as you know, an admin, really, to answer any real estate questions whatsoever, has to be licensed, as well as an ISA. ISAs can't make any outbound calls unless they're licensed in Texas.
And would you be open to sharing where the majority of your business comes from today?
Sure. Much of our business, the majority of our business comes from past clients or past client referrals. So it comes from our sphere and our past clients. We do some, some leads, we have a website and we buy a few leads, but a large part of our business is from past clients.
What led you to decide to venture into the space of lead generation?
Well, I've had my website since probably Emerald Dream Homes. I've had that website since 2008. And so that was the first way that I really got into leads, is just my website. And then years later, we bought some leads and we've tried various companies for that. But really and truly, that's just because I have a team. If I didn't have a team, I probably would not buy leads. A lot of our business also comes from sign calls.
Hmm.
And we actually get some from Google based upon our reviews.
Oh, like your Google business profile, they call from there?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
very good.
yeah. In fact, we have a lead that just came in this morning that way.
Oh, that's great. Do you also do Google LSA?
I do Google LSA. Honestly, we haven't found that we've gotten a lot of business from that. But the Google that we're doing organically, where we have Google video testimonials and we're doing some things like that, has really kind of taken us to a different level. And those are usually very good leads when we get those.
Okay, so do you post videos to your Google profile, or do you
Mhm.
just post them to YouTube?
No, to our profile.
That's great. Did you learn that yourself? Because I know there's a lot of different strategies you can use to, like,
I have a company
specific
that
keywords.
that did that for us, and they came in and actually videoed professionally these testimonials. That was part of the package deal. And I was kind of leery to do this, but I have it tied to the Chamber of Commerce here. So it was kind of part of a full package deal. But they've actually done a really good job in getting Google reviews for us, and the testimonials and some other things they've been doing. So I've actually been really pleased with that.
Okay, I need to take a look. If I just search the Connie Taylor group in Amarillo, will you pop up?
We should, Loretta,
Okay.
we should pop up, right? Obviously we are, because we just got a lead this
Yeah,
morning.
right. Yeah, there
But
you
check
go.
it out, because it's interesting what they're doing.
Yeah, I will for sure. What, and you said this was through your Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
Very
The
interesting.
company that we're using was through the Chamber of Commerce. It was
Okay,
kind of a package deal with those guys.
so they were local.
No, they're not actually
Oh, they're
local.
not.
In fact, I think they're out of New Jersey. But they had somebody from Oklahoma that came over to do the filming.
Oh, okay. Okay. So as far as lead generation and website, what do you currently use?
We're using for our lead gen and website Ylopo.
Okay. And how long have you been with them?
We've been with Ylopo. We hired Ylopo a year ago, November. So about a year and a half. We were with Follow Up Boss for 6 months before that, and for the CRM, and we went to FubCon in Vegas. Loretta and I both did, specifically to look at Ylopo and to get some feedback from some of the people that were using it before we signed up for that.
What did you learn at FubCon that made you decide to sign up for them?
Well, gosh, we felt like that if we could put everything together, because I was using one company for my website, a different company for this, a different company for that, and I was trying to integrate everything to be more cohesive. And so when we went to FubCon and talked to some people that were using Ylopo in a big way, we just felt like that might be something to integrate with Follow Up Boss, that we could put everything together. So that was kind of the decision we made.
Okay.
And it's been good. I think Ylopo is very much ahead, maybe 2 years of most of the industry. In fact, we just had a conversation with G last week. He called us and
Oh, how fun.
we talked about some stuff, and then I gave him my wish list.
Right, always a wish list.
But as I always say, I am the one on the team that is touchy, not techie. I'm not the techie one of the team. I'm happy to say that honestly, but I do understand how it works and I do understand what I want to happen. So, Loretta and my husband and my admin are much more techie than me. And
Well, you sound very, very knowledgeable about it
I am. I just have other things to do. So
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and get into the weeds of it. If I can look at the big picture and know how it's going to work and what's going to happen and make sure that's happening, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we have you, Elena.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. So you mentioned that you were using Follow Up Boss 6 months before you signed up for Ylopo.
Uh-huh.
How did you find Follow Up Boss, and why did you decide to make that your CRM?
I asked my team what they were looking for in a CRM and what would make them happy. And a lot of that is, what can we do on the go on an app on our phone where we can look things up, make things work. That was one of their biggest requests, actually, because they're out in the field all the time. So they wanted a CRM that was easy to use with a phone app. And then I started looking at different programs that were out there. And I felt like that Follow Up Boss was going to be the most user-friendly for the team. And I wanted a CRM that would make calls easy, where you can filter things. And so it just seemed like Follow Up Boss did that better and more user-friendly than a lot of the programs that we were looking at.
Yeah, I agree. I like the simplicity and the ease of use of Follow Up Boss as well. So you used Follow Up Boss for a bit before we got connected. What sorts of pain points, or I don't know if the word's problems, were you facing with your CRM setup, where you were looking to either solve yourself or start to look for outside help?
Well, the program that I was using, I had used, it was the one that had the drip that was free. And I had had that system for many, many years, and it was not user friendly, and it was pretty archaic as far as the programming of it worked. So it was the pain point was just moving from that system to any system, and my husband has some background in technology too. And I think he and my admin spent about 60 hours after we got Follow Up Boss just going through and cleaning it up. It was pretty difficult, actually. And not Follow Up's fault. It was the fault of where the information was coming from. So, and then once we got it up and running, it was like, Follow Up Boss is great, but it takes time to go in and set it up systematically so it's running smoothly, and that would work the easiest for a team. And so, and we were looking at how many drip systems there were to pick from, and there were a ton in there. And so it's like Loretta and I did not have time to go through all these and make all these things work and just make sure everything was set up the way we wanted. So that was when we decided we were going to look and see if there was someone that could help us do that. So that was what kind of led us to you.
Okay.
Loretta found you, actually.
Oh, Loretta did.
She did. Yeah.
Very good. So going from where you weren't sure what drip campaigns to use or how to set it up and automate it, to how it's set up now, can you share a brief overview of what your Follow Boss account looks like now and how it operates?
Well, I can compliment our system now by saying that we just got on Maverick, and they said we were one of the easiest systems to get running of any that they've had. Is that correct, Loretta? I think I'm correct on that.
Yes, it is. That we were one of the cleanest systems, and I definitely, thank Elena and Key Technology for setting us up, on all of the smart plans, and I mean, just to have just a smooth transition over to Maverick as well.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest compliments right there, Elena, is that they told us that.
Yeah.
Like they had it set up in a few hours, and they were like, wow, they were pretty impressed, actually. So I was like, well, as much as I say that we need to clean our system and things, I guess it's pretty good considering. So
Considering, yeah, always room for improvement though. I
always
will
room
that
for
as well.
improvement. Exactly.
So how long have you been using the key technology setup in Follow Up Boss?
Probably like 3 months in to, so over a year and a half, probably getting closer to 2 years since we've been partners with you.
Okay. And besides being told that by Maverick that it looked really clean and it was really easy to set up, what sorts of results have you and your team been seeing, whether it's saving time or getting responses?
Well, I think it's just the system and the way calls can be made and how you can look and figure out, calling an order of priorities. I think that was a big deal for the team, and especially newer agents coming in know what to look for. Well, you guys set it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, going down. And if you just go through those calls in order, your system can stay pretty clean for each agent that's on the team. So I think that's a big plus. And really, Loretta is the one that works more with your automated action plans of what's coming up. So that saves her a lot of time and effort, and there's consistency in how those plans run. It's not always perfect, but it's, sometimes we need to pause some things and do some things. But overall, I think that is one of the biggest things is just the time saver and letting her focus more on the leads that she needs to be calling and letting these other things just automatically happen.
Yeah, that's great. So since we've been working together almost 2 years, what has our support been like over that course of time?
Gosh, I'm going to let Loretta talk about that because she's the one that's usually emailing you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'll chime in here. So as far as, initially, on the setup, very smooth. Y'all, created all those email templates, text templates, the automations just on the follow-up that allowed me, like Connie had stated, to, to focus more on the leads that were ready. And as far as, the imports and, just the time saving, y'all have just been really involved as far as if we had questions or if we needed something, like the investor drip that we just got, and just, reaching out on things that whenever you saw that it could improve what we were doing. Y'all were always, very responsive.
That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing that, Loretta. So as we wrap up the conversation, I have one last question for you, Connie. I'm going to put you on the spot, so you may have to think about it for a second, but I'd love to hear one innovative strategy you've implemented in your business or lesser known tip. It could have been any sort of impact in your business that helped, whether it's helped you manage your leads, increase client retention and repeat and referral business, overall sales growth. What is one thing you can think of?
I think one of the biggest things that I see our business, because our number one lead source is our past clients, and it has nothing to do with technology. But I would say that the biggest thing that we're doing that we used to not do, but we've done them for the last 2.5 years, is our client appreciation events. Technology is wonderful and it gets you to a certain level, but at that point you have to turn that technology and you have to be a human being. So for us, I feel like going back to our client appreciation events, to our clients that we love and appreciate, I feel like that is not technology, but that is very important. And as far as a tech tip, one of the things that we've been doing in Wailopo is when the Y priorities come up that you kindly have set up for us, is that we're going into our stars and we're clicking on the address the address they looked at, not the area, in a 3-mile radius, and we're going through and picking listings, including the one they just looked at. and
Hmm.
sending them these listings. That's been a really good tip, I think, that we've been doing, that's bringing some results of people coming back on and having interaction.
That's great. Is that something Loretta does or your other agents do as well?
I do it on all my buyers or
Okay.
sellers. If they're looking at a property, I'll wait a day or two, click on that Y priority, and then set up a search that I've just quote sent them. And that keeps us top of mind. So that's a really good, just top of mind tip of people that have gone to the bottom of the funnel to look at something. So I
Yeah,
think that's really good. So I would give you a human tip and a tech tip.
I love it. Yeah, great way to stay relevant on both sides.
Uh-huh.
I may need to interview you on your client appreciation events. I know there's a lot of mystery around how many should you do? How big should it be?
Uh-huh.
How often should you do it? What should you do? What should you host? How do you talk to everybody? So
We're
if you're
still
ever,
learning all that, but
yeah,
we are getting better at it. So I
Good.
think that's really good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, if you're ever open to talking about that, I know that the Follow Up Boss community would find that really helpful.
Yeah, it's always important to do that.
Very good. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you, Connie, and thank you, Loretta, for sharing your experiences with your entire real estate business. I know people find this super helpful.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Elena.
Bye-bye.